Thank you. Please be seated. First, let's give a round of applause for the wonderful klezmer band today. Today is indeed a very special day for our institution as we gather to celebrate the achievements of our graduates and our honorees. My name is Alan Levine, and I have the great honor and privilege of serving as chair of the Board of Trustees of the Jewish Theological Seminary. On behalf of my colleagues on the Board of Trustees, the administration, and the faculty, I'm truly delighted to welcome all of you to the 130th Commencement Exercises of the Jewish Theological Seminary. The shofar blast that we heard a few moments ago is a hallmark of the JTS Commencement, and I thank Caleb Brommer for blowing the shofar for us this year. Caleb will be ordained as a rabbi at a ceremony later today. The call of the shofar evokes a range of emotions and associations from throughout Jewish history. It is a symbol of renewal. It is a symbol of a call to action and the sound of revelation, all in the same moment. It embodies perfectly the excitement and anticipation that we all feel at this moment. Now please join us as the graduating cantorial students Ingrid Barnett, David Childs, Gedalia Penner, Max Silverstone, and Neil Tabel lead us in the Star-Spangled Banner and Hatikva. Please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
Thank you all. Please be seated. And special thanks to our graduating cantorial students. I now call upon Rabbi Elliot Melamed, spiritual leader of Highland Park Conservative Temple, Congregation Anshe Emeth in Highland Park, New Jersey, to deliver the invocation. Rabbi Melamed has much to be proud of. His daughter Elisheva will be awarded a Bachelor of Arts degree.
Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for this institution, for its chancellor and faculty, and for all who lead it and maintain it and protect it. They have made this place an island of security and peace in a sea of turbulence. Guide them and guard them during these challenging times for the Jewish people, for Israel, for America, and the world. Modim anachnu lach, we thank you, God, for enabling our daughters and sons to study your Torah within these gates and for seeding them with the generative ideas that will yield fine fruit for the rest of their lives. Bless their families, parents and grandparents, spouses and children, and all who are dear to them. May you shower us with health, delight, and joy. In this precious moment, we remember loved ones who did not live to see this day and precious faculty who are bound to us in the bonds of life and learning. Guardian of Israel, Shomer Yisrael, guard and protect our beloved state of Israel and all who defend it. In this joyous and holy moment, we pray for the 132 hostages and their families. May they be freed. Ribbano Shel Olam, bless our beloved graduates, guide them and watch over them as they emerge from these very special gates, ready to serve Klal Yisrael and to be a vessel of your name. Bless them with strength and bless them with peace. Adonai Oz le'amo yiten. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Amen.
Rabbi Melamed, thank you for those moving words, and mazel tov to you and the family on your daughter's graduation today. Distinguished honorees, members of the JTS faculty, administration, and board of trustees, representatives of the conservative movement, friends from the entire community, and Acharon Haviv, our graduates and their families, friends and guests, I once again welcome all of you to this joyous celebration. I would also like to welcome members of the administrations from our sister academic institutions who are joining us today. From Columbia University, Chaplain Joel Nell Davis. From Columbia's School of General Studies, Dean Lisa Rosenmetch, and Dean of Students, Marlon Delva. Dean for Academic Planning and Class Advising, Holly Tedder, and Senior Class Dean, Rebecca Grabner. And from Yeshivat Maharat, President Sarah Hurwitz. I also note with pride that Deans Rosenmetch and Grabner are JTS alumni and received degrees at this commencement years ago. And for those of you that are here at JTS for the first time, we welcome you to this magnificent atrium, part of the 21st Century project that we completed in 2020. You, our 2024 graduates, persevered in the face of unforeseeable circumstances, rising to the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic with resilience, And on this landmark day, I want to personally congratulate each and every one of you for reaching this milestone. As we gather to celebrate our remarkable graduating students and distinguished honorees, we acknowledge that the world around us is fraught with tension and discord. We carry in our hearts and minds the profound trauma of October 7, the ache of families awaiting the return of loved ones taken hostage, and the deep and widespread pain of ongoing war impacting so many civilians. Yet we are here today as one unified JTS community to honor the achievements of our graduates and honorees with joy, with respect, and optimistic anticipation for all that lies ahead on their future paths and their positive impact on the world. In that spirit, I ask everyone to please refrain from any distractions that might diminish from this once-in-a-lifetime ceremony for our graduates and honorees and their families. And may this commencement ceremony serve as a symbol of hope and peace in a world that is so in need of healing. I have the distinct privilege of serving as chair of this vibrant and vital institution. And I must say that presiding at these commencement exercises is the most enjoyable and gratifying activity for me. Today, let me share with you the special sense of being up here at this podium. From this vantage point, I can see the beaming smiles of parents and grandparents and the pride and love of other family members and friends. There is, of course, a visible sense of accomplishment and eagerness on the faces of the graduates themselves. What a wonderful view and feeling it is we all have from up here. But graduates, may I ask that on this day, which is special not just for you, but for everyone else here, that you take a moment, stand up, and turn to the others in the hall behind you and acknowledge their past support and commitment to your future with a very hearty round of applause. Thank you. And now I have the pleasure, the distinct pleasure, of introducing the Chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary and President of its faculties, Dr. Shuli Rubin Schwartz, who will preside over the next portion of the program.
Thank you. Members of the JTS Board, faculty and administration, colleagues of sister institutions, representatives of the conservative movement, our graduates and honored guests, I too am delighted to welcome you to these commencement exercises. It is now my great privilege to confer the honorary degrees, a tradition that began at JTS in 1904. Those receiving honorary degrees today join a distinguished group of scientists, artists, scholars, public servants, and leaders of the Jewish community. In awarding these degrees, which have been approved by the JTS Board of Trustees, JTS acknowledges the teaching of Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel in Pirkei Avot, with the wisdom of our sages, Lo hamidrashu ha'ikar ela ha'maaseh, not study, but deeds, are truly essential. JTS honors these individuals for their outstanding accomplishments as well as their exemplary learning. We will be awarding honorary degrees this morning, slightly out of alphabetical order. We will begin with Dr. John Sexton. Dr. Sexton will leave our commencement right after receiving his honorary degree for a very happy reason. He will be participating in the graduation of New York University's Law School. At that ceremony, his son will be awarded his law degree. It is my great pleasure to invite Dr. John Sexton to the podium. He is sponsored by Alan M. Klein, Esquire, a member of the JTS Board, and by Chancellor Emeritus Arnold M. Eisen, Professor of Jewish Thought. John Sexton, a transformational leader, you have pioneered innovations in higher education that have profoundly impacted our increasingly global world. You are President Emeritus of New York University, Dean Emeritus of New York University School of Law, and Benjamin Butler Professor of Law. From 1988 to 2002, under your tenure, NYU School of Law became one of the top 5 law schools in the country. From 2002 to 2015, you served as the 15th president of NYU. Under your leadership, NYU became the first global network university, opening successful campuses in Abu Dhabi and Shanghai. In 2016, you founded and for 5 years served as CEO of the Catalyst Foundation for Universal Education, providing over $25 million in grants to educate underserved refugee and displaced children around the world. You have authored numerous books. I know the baseball one is the one everybody knows. Your latest book, which had the most impact on me, although I am a baseball fan, Standing for Reason discusses the sacred role universities play in incubating ideas and promoting true discourse with searching questions and a listening spirit. The landscape of higher education, geographically and intellectually, has evolved in ever more expansive and impactful ways, thanks to your incisive mind, your boundless energy, and your commitment to the common good. Acting on behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my honor and privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. Congratulations and enjoy the graduation. It is now my great pleasure to invite Mr. Wolf Blitzer to the podium. He is sponsored by Ms. Molly Levinson, a member of the JTS Board, and Dr. David Fishman, Professor of Jewish History. Wolf Blitzer, one of our country's most prominent journalists, you have served as a trusted voice in times of crisis. You grew up in Buffalo as the child of Holocaust survivors, and you began your career in 1972 with the Reuters news agency in Tel Aviv, after which you became the Jerusalem Post Washington, D.C. correspondent. You joined CNN in 1990, and for the past 18 years, you have anchored The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer. Over the decades, you have reported on a wide range of major breaking stories that have shaped the international political landscape. You covered the first Israeli-Egyptian peace conference in Egypt in 1977, and from Moscow in 1991, the collapse of the Soviet Union. Inspired by your Jewish heritage, you've worked tirelessly to promote Holocaust education and combat anti-Semitism throughout your career. In 2022, you produced for CNN Never Again, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, a tour with Wolf Blitzer, an impactful and deeply personal report. In 2023, you traveled to Poland to participate in the 35th International March of the Living and to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Your insightful reporting has unfailingly kept us informed about the state of our nation and the world, serving as an essential beacon for democracy. Acting on behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my honor and great privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. You'll come back. We'll get you back later. It is now my pleasure to invite Dr. Gail Twersky-Reamer to the podium. She is sponsored by Mr. Ned Gladstein, a member of the JTS Board, and Dr. Amy Kalmanovsky, Dean of the Gershon Kex Graduate School and the Albert A. List College of Jewish Studies, and Blanche and Romy Shapiro Professor of Bible. Gail Twersky-Reamer, a visionary pioneer of Jewish feminism, you have played an incomparable role in expanding our appreciation for the inestimable impact of Jewish women. In 1995, you founded the Jewish Women's Archive, the only organization dedicated entirely to Jewish women's history. Your inspirations were the stories you heard from your parents, who were Holocaust survivors, and the work of a rising group of feminist historians. Your goal was to ensure that Jewish women's stories, so often unknown or overlooked, would become integral parts of the historical record, and you have succeeded beyond measure. Thanks to your prescience in establishing the archive as a digital repository open to anyone with internet access, you have captured the imagination of scholars, supporters, and web users of all ages from across the globe. The Jewish Women's Archive quickly became the go-to source for information about Jewish women and their impact on all aspects of Judaism and Jewish life and on society at large. Your vital work has not only transformed our understanding of the breadth and scope of the Jewish women's history and experience, but it has also helped shape a more expansive vision of the Jewish future. Acting on behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my honor and great privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. It is now my pleasure to invite Professor Yair Zakovich to the podium. He is sponsored by Ms. Mimi Alprin, Vice Chair of the JTS Board, and Dr. Robert Harris, Professor of Bible and Ancient Semitic Languages. Yair Zakovich, one of the world's most original Bible scholars, you have reached beyond the confines of the Academy, bringing Bible study closer to the hearts and minds of the Israeli public. Emeritus Takeji Otsky, Professor of Bible at Hebrew University, you joined the Hebrew University faculty while in graduate school and remained until your retirement in 2010. Since then, you have continued to teach at several eminent institutions, including JTS. In 2021, you received the Israel Prize in Biblical Studies for your extraordinary contributions to biblical scholarship. Your primary interests are the literary analysis of the Bible, the history of beliefs and ideas in the Bible, biblical historiography, and early Jewish and Christian interpretation of the Bible. Among the highlights of your numerous publications are Between Inner and Extra-Biblical Interpretation and Jacob, Unexpected Patriarch. In Israel, you are a sought-after lecturer, engaging scholars, educators, and popular audiences alike. You have described the relationship between the Jewish people and the Bible as one in which a people created a book and the book created the people. The impact of your work strengthening this bond will be felt for generations to come. Acting on behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my honor and great privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Hebrew Letters honoris causa. I want to extend my warmest congratulations to each of our distinguished new honorary alumni. And now I would like to invite Mr. Wolf Blitzer to return to the podium to deliver today's commencement address.
As I say every single day, I'm Wolf Blitzer, and you're in the Situation Room. And as I explain to everyone, why do we call it the Situation Room? Because whatever room I'm in, there's a situation. And there's a wonderful situation going on in this room right now. I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm so honored to be here. Thank you. And first and foremost, to the graduates, let me be among the first to congratulate you on your accomplishments. So impressive. And thank you, of course, a great thank you to the Jewish Theological Seminary for this truly wonderful, wonderful honor. I'm especially grateful to your outstanding Chancellor, Dr. Shuli Rubin Schwartz, who has led the JTS so brilliantly. Let's give her a big round of applause. As someone who grew up in Buffalo, New York, hearing all about the Jewish Theological Seminary from one of our very special leaders, Rabbi Isaac Klein of Temple Emmanuel in Buffalo, this means so much to me. And as some of you may know, especially the older people who are here, Rabbi Klein of blessed memory was ordained here at the JTS in 1934 and went on to teach here as well for many, many years. I remain grateful to him for all he taught us over the years. He had a really important impact on the Buffalo Jewish and non-Jewish communities. My very good friend, Dr. Larry Schwab, who grew up with me in Buffalo, is here today with us as well. He reminded me the other day that the last time the two of us were together here at JTS was in the early 1970s when we both came here to be interviewed for possible summer counselor positions at Camp Ramah. I know there are a lot of Ramonics here. The good news is we both became counselors the following summer and thoroughly enjoyed that wonderful, wonderful experience. And a couple of years later, I got the summer job as head of the Chanutiyah, or the canteen, at Camp Ramah in Palmer, Massachusetts. And as many of you, especially who are Ramonics, know, it doesn't get much better than that. I was in charge of distributing the candy bars. I'm thrilled we can all celebrate this very special day together, surrounded by friends and family, especially given what's going on at so many colleges and universities around the country right now. At a moment like this, there are a few words that sum up the good fortune and good wishes we are all feeling than the Hebrew words Mazal Tov. Do you graduates know what that means? Let me share something that you don't know, something that my loving father of blessed memory often told me growing up in Buffalo about mazal, or luck. My father and mother, as you know, were both Polish Jews who survived the Holocaust. Their parents, all four of my grandparents, were murdered during the Holocaust. Before the war, my dad studied with rabbis and teachers and had an amazing Jewish education. As he often told me, he was a very proud yeshiva bucher. You know what that is? Yeshiva bucher. Remember, son, he told me, mazal is a very special Hebrew word. Its Hebrew letters are spelled Mem, Zayin, Lamed. Remember this. You're going to be quizzed on this later. Mem, he told me, stands for makom, or place. Zayin, he said, stands for zman, or time. And Lamed stands for la'asot, to do, la'asot. His rabbis told him that you will have mazal, or luck, if you are at the right place, makom, at the right time, zman, but only if you take advantage of that and do something positive, la'asot. That lesson has resonated with me all these years. As a journalist, I'm often covering a major news story at the right place and the right time, but that's not enough. My dad would say, take full advantage of that opportunity and do a great job reporting the story, and you will then have mazal, or luck. Graduates, think about that as you pursue your next chapters, whatever they may be, and make the most of it. We are meeting today at a very troubling time in our history. By all accounts, there has been a dramatic increase in anti-Semitism. Jew hatred in our country, sadly, is growing. There's an increase in Holocaust denial as well. And the anti-Semitism comes from both the far right and the far left. My mom and dad, both Holocaust survivors, would never have believed it if they were still with us today. They both came to this country with little money, couldn't speak English. But this country and its wonderful people gave them new opportunities, and they became among the most patriotic Americans I have ever known. We had an American flag flying outside our house in Buffalo all year round. They loved America so much for giving them a second chance. They never would have believed, had they been alive, that Americans would march in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 shouting, "Jews will not replace us. Jews will not replace us." They never would have believed that Jewish college students now would be threatened because they are Jewish and support Israel. I have covered the recent campus protests as a journalist and as a strong advocate for the First Amendment and free speech, but also as a proud Jewish American who believes there is no place for hate against Jews or anyone else, on campus or anywhere in our country. Never in America, my parents would have said, maybe in Europe or elsewhere, but never in America. They wouldn't have believed what is going on. Having said all that, I remain hopeful and optimistic, again, because of my loving parents. They were always convinced that America is a great country that eventually will do the right thing, even when there are major problems and mistakes. I know the rabbis, the cantors, the administrators, the educators who are receiving degrees today, I'm so proud of all of you, are enjoying this very joyous moment and are looking forward to what's next. But I also know that many of you are worried about the hurdles you will face. There are a lot of uncertainties and questions, but know this: you have been blessed with a terrific education, and that will help you in the years ahead. A good education, as we all know, is so important. To this day, I am grateful to the State University of New York at Buffalo for my BA in History and the Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies in Washington, D.C., where I received my MA in International Relations. What I learned during those 6 years has stayed with me and benefited me to this very day. And I have no doubt that what all of you have learned here at JTS will remain with you 30, 40, 50 years from now as well. So before you leave, give a special thanks to your professors. Education, education, education. That's what my mom and dad always said. It's so critical for the rest of your lives. And my advice, continue that education, either formally or informally, in the years ahead. There's always something so important to learn. I am blessed that I get paid to continue my education every single day. In reporting the news, I automatically learn something every day. I can ask newsmakers serious and tough questions and hopefully get good answers. And that makes me a bit smarter in the process. I always feel that I wake up every morning with X amount of knowledge, but I go to sleep at night with X plus amount of knowledge because of what I have learned during the course of the day, and that is truly a blessing. I know that blessing would have never happened without the college education I received decades earlier. So graduates, enjoy this special moment. I know you appreciate it now, but I also know that you will appreciate it even more in the years to come. So graduates, as you leave here today, you stand at a crossroads in American history and Jewish history. As you go forward with your careers and your lives, you will be asked essential questions of life, and people will hang on to your thoughts and words and look for answers. Hopefully your studies here at JTS and your future studies will prepare you for this truly enormous challenge. We always look to our clergy for answers and guidance during times of grief and sorrow and during joyous times as well. I am way older than almost all of you and surely don't know the answers yet, and I'm sure you don't either. But life and life's experiences and your studies from JTS have given you the ground to navigate this, and you will. And for that, I am proud to say thank you very much. You and your generation will be responsible for where this country goes, what we do, what we become. I say that not to scare you, but to inspire you and to challenge you, to always remember that we are part of something bigger, as children, as parents, as neighbors, as citizens of this nation in the most divisive of times, and that is something that can unite us. Once again, a very special thanks to the Jewish Theological Seminary for what you do all the time, and a special thanks also for inviting me here today and for allowing me to share some thoughts. I am so honored, and of course, thanks for this honorary degree. You better show me some more respect down the road. To the graduates and the families, once again, Mazal Tov.
Mr. Blitzer, thank you so much for those moving and important words. And for your drash on Mazal Tov. I think I will now think of you and that teaching every time I say it, which hopefully will be often. We are indebted to you for the honor you have bestowed upon our institution and its many supporters by being with us. We thank you for your wisdom, which you shared with us, and for your friendship. May you continue to go from strength to strength. I am delighted to now call your attention to the H.L. Miller Cantorial School Chorus. Directed by Chazan Natasha Hirschhorn, they will be performing Odecha. The text is from the Hallel service that has been set to music by Stephen Glass. Elliot Roman, thank you, will accompany the chorus on the keyboard. Thank you. Thank you so much to the chorus, to Chazan Natasha Hirschhorn, Mr. Roman, for enriching our ceremony with that beautiful music. I am now turning this over to my colleague, Provost Jeffrey Kress.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Kress, and I am Provost here of JTS, and I am not going to sing. But what I will do is draw your attention to this commencement program. Please attend to it. In it, you will find the listings of prizes that have been awarded to the students of our schools. We congratulate all those who have been so honored. Also listed are those who have earned JTS's Certificate in Pastoral Care and Counseling. This certificate is awarded to people of all faiths who have completed a curriculum of Jewishly grounded academic learning, supervised clinical experience, and training in providing pastoral care to people of diverse backgrounds. We congratulate this year's certificate recipients. In addition, you will find a list of students graduating Project Judaica, a unique program sponsored by JTS in cooperation with the Institute of Oriental Studies of the Ukrainian Academy of Sciences in Kyiv. Project Judaica graduates go on to assume leadership positions in Ukrainian Jewish communities and in Jewish scholarship. Our students in Kyiv completed their coursework in the midst of war and bombardments, and we congratulate them on their devotion and remarkable achievement. As we celebrate our graduating students today, it's also fitting to recognize publicly a member of the JTS administration who has contributed much to this institution. After 8 years at JTS, Joe Maybloom, Chief Enrollment Officer of JTS and Associate Dean of Student Success of List College, is stepping down to become Director of College Counseling at the Jack M. Barrack Hebrew Academy in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. But there's more. Joe joined the JTS staff in 2016 as Director of List College Admissions. Since then, he has held a number of positions in the Admissions Office and List College Dean's Office. His operational expertise has advanced the admissions process tremendously. Moreover, his enthusiasm and relationship skills have benefited our students greatly. We thank him and wish him continued success in his next professional chapter. We now recognize publicly a member of the faculty who has contributed immensely to our students' success over a span of many years and who himself is making a significant transition in his career. We express our deep gratitude to Dr. Eliezer Diamond, the Rabbi Judah Nadich Professor of Talmud and Rabbinics, who joined the JTS faculty in 1990 and who's stepping down from formal classroom teaching. Through the multitude of courses and students Rabbi Diamond has taught during his many years at JTS, he has helped train a myriad of clergy, educators, communal professionals, lay leaders, and scholars, and has just thus shaped the face of Jewish communities and the academy throughout North America and worldwide. He has served as a spiritual and halachic advisor for innumerable JTS students, rabbis in the field, and adult learners, always bringing his full self to the task and integrating the deep wisdom gained from his life experience into his teaching. He has enriched the religious lives of so many, modeling the truth the Torah can and should serve as an ever-present guide as we strive to improve our characters and heal the brokenness of the world. We pray that his strength and passion for scholarship, teaching, and service to the community will continue to flourish in new ways for many years to come. Chazak uvaruch. At this time, I'm also pleased to note that in your program, you remember your program, you can find a listing of the JTS class of 1974, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary. We congratulate the members of the class on reaching this major milestone. I want to tell all of our JTS alumni how important you are to us. You are JTS's ambassadors, carrying your learning with you throughout your professional and personal lives and making invaluable contributions as leaders in a variety of fields. We now ask our esteemed alumni from the class of 1974 who are here in person to rise if you are able so that you may be recognized. And we now ask that all of our wonderful alumni who are here today in person to rise as well if you are able. We celebrate your collective impact on the Jewish community and pray that you go from strength to strength. You may be seated. I would now like to call Rabbi Nassan Goldstein, who was ordained by JTS in 1969 to lead the families of the graduates in the Shehecheyanu blessing. We are immensely pleased to acknowledge the long-standing and deep connection between Rabbi Goldstein's family and JTS. 100 years ago, Rabbi David Goldstein was ordained by JTS, and his spouse, Rose Berman Goldstein, earned a teacher's diploma from JTS. They were the first generation in what has become a veritable JTS dynasty. Their son, Rabbi Nassan Goldstein, who is with us today, is the father of 2 JTS List College alumni. And on this proud day, Rabbi Goldstein's grandson, Jason Block, is graduating from List College, making this the 4th consecutive generation of the family with a JTS graduate. Rabbi Goldstein, may you and your family go michayil l'chayil, from strength to strength in your connection to JTS and your service to the Jewish community. Rabbi Goldstein. Rabbi Goldstein.
I now ask the parents, grandparents, partners, and children of our graduates to please rise and remain standing. We recognize and appreciate the essential role that you have played in making this day possible and great. And we rejoice with you as you're witnessing the fulfillment of a long-standing hopes and dreams. Please join me in reciting the Shehecheyanu blessing to mark this special occasion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'keimanu v'higianu lazman. Praised are you, Lord Adonai, our God, who rules the universe, for granting us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this day.
Amen.
You may be seated.
Rabbi Goldstein, thank you, and allow me to offer you a public mazal tov on your grandson's graduation today. We now turn to conferring the degrees in course, which will be awarded by school in the following order: the Gershon Kext Graduate School, the William Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education, the Albert A. List College of Jewish Studies, the H.L. Miller Cantorial School and College of Jewish Music, and the Rabbinical School. The dean or director of each school will present the candidates, and the chancellor will then confer the degrees by the authority vested in the JTS Board of Trustees by the Board of Regents of the University of the State of New York. Most universities confer their degrees by asking each class to stand in unison. At JTS, we call the graduating students up to the podium individually in recognition of the hard work and dedication that brought them to this moment. While the names of candidates who could not attend appear in the commencement program, that's this, they will not be called. In keeping with our custom, please withhold your applause until all the degrees in each group have been conferred. I now call upon Dr. Amy Kalmanovsky, Dean of the Gershon Kext Graduate School, to present the candidates for degrees in that school.
Thank you, Dr. Kress. Chancellor Schwartz, the Gershon Kext Graduate School will award the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Hebrew Literature, and Master of Arts today. We will begin with the conferral of the doctoral degrees. Each of the following candidates has completed with due and appropriate satisfaction all the required academic programs and examinations which qualify them for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Gershon Kext Graduate School of JTS, and has as their sponsor a member of the faculty who has helped guide their studies and research. I now call upon Dr. Alan Cooper, Elaine Ravitch Professor of Jewish Studies, to present Maor Gili Green.
Chancellor Schwartz, I have the honor of presenting to you Rabbi Maor Gili Green, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in course. Maor has successfully defended an original dissertation entitled Imagery of Violent Speech in Psalms.
I now call upon Dr. David Fishman, Professor of Jewish History, to present Yaakov Lipsker.
Chancellor Schwartz, I have the honor of presenting Yaakov Lipsker, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in course. Yaakov has successfully defended with distinction an original dissertation entitled Between Palestine and the Pale, a history of the Zionist movement in late Imperial Russia, 1897 to 1914.
I now call upon Dr. Richard Kalman, Theodore R. Rakusin Professor of Talmud and Rabbinics, to present Jeremy Zalman Tabek.
Chancellor Schwartz, I have the honor of presenting Jeremy Zalman Tabek, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in course. Jeremy has successfully defended with distinction an original dissertation entitled Our Holy Rabbi, a reassessment of the evidence about Rabbi, his role in the rabbinic movement, and in reconstructing late antique Jewish history.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, upon the recommendation of the faculty, which recognizes your scholarly accomplishments, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, which you have earned in course. We congratulate you on your achievement and welcome you to the company of scholars.
Chancellor Schwartz, each of the following candidates has completed with due and appropriate satisfaction all the required academic programs and examinations which qualify them for the degree of Doctor of Hebrew Literature in the Gershon Kext Graduate School of JTS, and has as their sponsor a member of the faculty who has helped guide their studies and research. I now call upon Dr. Robert Harris, Professor of Bible and Ancient Semitic Languages, to present Eliana Mitnick.
Chancellor Schwartz, I have the honor of presenting Eliana Mitnick, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Hebrew Literature in course. Eliana has successfully completed an original dissertation entitled The Use of the Word Derech as a Technical Term in the Genesis Commentaries of Rabbi Samuel ben Meir Rashbam and Rabbi Yosef Bechor Shor.
I now call upon Chancellor Emeritus Arnold M. Eisen, Professor of Jewish Thought, to present Andrew D. Siegel.
Chancellor Schwartz, I have the honor of presenting Andrew D. Siegel, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Hebrew Literature in course. Andrew has successfully completed an original dissertation entitled Remaking Modernity and Redefining Judaism, the Thought of Abraham Joshua Heschel and Leo Strauss in the Pursuit of Justice as the Social Ideal.
I now call upon Dr. David Marcus, Professor Emeritus of Bible and Masorah, to present Malka Strasberg Ettinger.
Chancellor Schwartz, I have the honor of presenting Malka Strasberg Ettinger, candidate for the degree of Hebrew and Hebrew Literature in course. Malka has successfully completed an original dissertation entitled The Reliability of the Masoretic Notes in Biblia Hebraica.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Hebrew Literature, upon the recommendation of the faculty, which recognizes your scholarly accomplishments, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree of Doctor of Hebrew Literature, which you have earned in course. We congratulate you on your achievement and welcome you to the company of scholars.
Chancellor Schwartz, I now present the candidates who have satisfactorily fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Arts in the Gershon Kex Graduate School of JTS. I invite the candidates to rise and come forward to the platform as I call their names and ask that they remain standing when they return to their seats. Jessica Q. Alperin. Joshua Aaron Bender. Joshua Ezra Brunlerman. Gadi Capella. Gisela Andrea Romang Baylor. Emanuela Nadia Rosenfeld. Ilana Mardell Sandberg. Liliana Elizabeth Schwartzman. Samuel Joseph Vingren. Amalia Miriam Volz.
Thank you, Dr. Kalmanovsky. Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts. You have completed the prescribed course of instruction and fulfill the language, research, and other requirements of the Gershon Kex Graduate School of JTS. In recognition of these accomplishments and acting upon the recommendation of the faculty and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree of Master of Arts which you have earned in course. We congratulate you on this well-earned achievement. Mazel tov.
In my role as acting dean of the William Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education, I am now pleased to present you the candidates for degrees in that school. The William Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education awards the degrees of Doctor of Education and Master of Arts. We'll begin with the conferral of doctoral degrees. Each of the following candidates has completed with due and appropriate satisfaction all the required academic programs and examinations which qualify them for the degree of Doctor of Education in the William Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education of JTS. And each has, as their sponsor, a member of the faculty who has helped guide their studies and research. I now call upon Dr. Barry Holtz, Theodore and Florence Baumritter Professor of Jewish Education, to present Andrew Solomon Ergus.
Chancellor Schwartz, I have the honor of presenting Andrew Solomon Ergus, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Education in course. Andrew has successfully defended an original dissertation entitled Making a Professional Home in an Old New Language, Attributes and Anxieties of Non-Native Hebrew Instructors in Jewish day schools.
Chancellor Schwartz. I have the honor of presenting David Michael Kessel, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Education in course. Come on up. David has successfully defended an original dissertation entitled Understanding the Impact of Project-Based Learning on Employee Growth and Development in the Jewish Workplace. I now call upon Dr. Marjorie Lehman, Professor of Talmud and Rabbinics, and Dr. Shira Epstein, former Dean of the Davidson School, to present Luciana Pajecki Lederman, whose dissertation was co-sponsored by Dr. Lehman and Dr. Epstein.
Chancellor Schwartz, we have the honor of presenting Luciana Pajecki Lederman, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Education in course.
Luciana has successfully defended an original dissertation entitled Making Talmud Thinking Visible.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Education, upon the recommendation of the faculty, which recognizes your scholarly accomplishments, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree of Doctor of Education, which you have earned in course. We congratulate you on your achievement and welcome you to the company of scholars.
Chancellor Schwartz, I am now privileged to present the candidates who have satisfactorily fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Masters of Arts in the William Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education. I invite the candidates to rise and come forward, got that, to the platform as I call their names and ask that they remain standing when they return to their seats. Maya Simona Ehrenreich. Stacy Elise Glazer. Grace Zweiback Hack. Hannah Elizabeth Isaacs Arkin. Alice Rose Manning. Amy Schwartz. Hannah Sophie Stein.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts, you have completed the prescribed course of instruction and have fulfilled the language, research, and other requirements of the William Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education. You are well aware of the sacred nature of your vocation. Your energy, learning, and talent bode well for the future of the Jewish people, the teaching of Torah, and the thriving of the human spirit. In recognition of these accomplishments and acting upon the recommendation of the faculty and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree of Master of Arts, which you have earned in course. We congratulate you on this well-earned achievement. Mazel tov.
At this time, I call upon Dr. Amy Kalmanovsky, Dean of the Albert A. List College of Jewish Studies, to present the candidates for degrees in JTS's undergraduate school.
Thank you, Dr. Kress. Chancellor Schwartz, it is now my privilege to present the successful and spectacular candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in the Albert A. List College of Jewish Studies. As I call the names of our degree candidates, I invite them to rise and come forward, and then to return to their seats and remain standing. Naomi Ruth Alberts. Yola Ashkenazi. Daniel Max Barth. Sivan Danielle Barzeski. Jason Aaron Block. Miriam Kayla Brochet. Elon Spencer Cohen. Isabella Dayani. Ezra Dayanim. Anika Lynn Erickson. Jeremy Evan Faust. Naomi Davida Fox. Solomon Israel Fox. Noah Ezriel Friedman Nathan. Julia Rose Goldberg. Leah Kryachowski. Emma Rose Greengold. Rachel Gadanian. Sophie Alana Hanin. Caleb Shai Holzhauer. Elizabeth Leipzig Holzhauer. Natalie Hannah Catalan. Annabella Rose Kleiman. Rose Marley Levine. Neve Levy. Talia Chaya Levin. Elon David Michael Levine. Elisheva Yonit Sandler Malamet. Shira Mikaeli. Ariella Esther Mitchell. Rachel Leah Nielsen. Alyssa Postelnik. Max Lon Molino Shane. And Shaked Sabar.
Thank you, Dr. Kalmanovsky. Members of the List College graduating class, the degree you received today, as you well know, represents a double achievement in humanities studies. Not only have you completed the rigorous JTS undergraduate course of study, but you have amassed a minimum of 60 liberal arts credits, and often more than that. You accomplished this in either the joint program with Columbia University or the double degree program with Barnard College, for which you have received an additional Bachelor of Arts degree. The faculty, therefore, takes special pride in recognizing your achievement. It is now my privilege, members of the undergraduate class of 2024, acting upon the recommendation of the faculty, which recognizes your successful completion in the course of study in the Albert A. List College of Jewish Studies, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, to confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Arts, which you have earned in course. We congratulate you on your hard-won achievement. Mazal Tov.
I now call upon Ilan Levine to speak on behalf of the List College graduates.
Chancellor Schwartz, members of the board, faculty, family, friends, and of course, the class of 2024. Sholem Aleichem, author of the most enduring works of modern Jewish fiction, wrote of a town called Kasvilevka, which has been described as an idealized town of little Jews who met their misfortune with humor and an ultimate belief in justice. Today, Kasvilevka has become the archetype of the shtetl we know in popular culture, those funky, old-world places where Jews faced indescribable hardship, but somehow maintained an intense commitment to Jewish practice and a just as intense commitment to town gossip. In a way, I've realized that our college experience is Kasvilevka. For those of you who aren't aware, this is possibly the first and only time the List College class of 2024 will ever mostly be in the same room all at once. Our student journeys began behind computer cameras from across the globe. Most of our college firsts came in the form of emails and Zoom meetings as substitutes for the college experiences we were supposed to have. And now, as we look back at our final days on campus, we see our last class meetings moved to Zoom and our final exams turned remote. For the past couple of months, we saw division and distrust weaken the campus community we've worked so hard to build. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that just last week, we saw our own graduation festivities canceled. In short, we have had anything but the college experience we grew up dreaming about. And yet, when I look back at my time here at JTS and Columbia, I don't intend to dwell on the parts that weren't ideal. I intend to look back on the incredible classes and professors I learned from, the Jewish plays I read, the formals and senior nights, picnics and pop-ups I attended, the 3 a.m. mozzarella sticks from dining halls, and the lifelong friendships I made with my peers. And you know, the whole getting 2 degrees at once thing. If Jewish literature has taught me anything, it's that life doesn't wait for the ugly chapters to end before transitioning into the happy ones. It tasks the authors with choosing which parts of the story are worth highlighting. Kasvilevka was a town where people couldn't afford to eat and regular pogroms would decimate the population. And yet, we remember it for its joy, lighthearted mischief, and rumor mill. To the List College class of 2024, I charge you to always commit yourselves to see the world for its positivity despite the circumstances that might arise. We are not the COVID class or the Israel-Hamas war class, unless we allow ourselves to be. We are some of the best and brightest people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, and our resiliency is a testament to our potential. Congratulations to the class of 2024. Somehow, we did it.
Thank you, Ilan, and congratulations. I now call upon Rabbi Ayelet Cohen, Pearl Resnick Dean of the Division of Religious Leadership and the Rabbinical School, and Cantor Raphael Frieder, Interim Director of the H.L. Miller Cantorial School and College of Jewish Music, to present the degree candidates in the Cantorial School.
Thank you, Dr. Kress. Chancellor Schwartz, this year's graduates of the H.L. Miller Cantorial School and College of Jewish Music will be ordained as chazanim at a ceremony taking place later today. These students, as well as another student, have also successfully completed the requirements for the degree of Master of Sacred Music in the school, and my colleague, Cantor Frieder, will now present them to you for those degrees.
I invite the candidates to rise and come forward to the platform as I call their names, and then to return to their seats and remain standing. Ingrid Alexandra Barnett. David Samuel Childs. Gedalia Moshe Penner. Max Henry Silverstone. Neil Michael Tybel. Anna A. Boyko Weinraub.
Thank you, Rabbi Cohen and Cantor Frieder. Candidates for the degree of Master of Sacred Music, you have completed the prescribed course of instruction and have fulfilled the research and other requirements of the H.L. Miller Cantorial School and College of Jewish Music. In recognition of these accomplishments and acting upon the recommendation of the faculty and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Sacred Music, which you have earned in course. We congratulate you on this well-deserved achievement.
I now ask, no, I've done that.
You've done that? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
All right. Stand up again, because... Yes? No? Done?
You do this part, the ordination.
I'm just going... Fine. That's what I thought. Okay. So as you know, you did receive the master. However, I would like to recognize your ordination as chazanim, which will take place this afternoon at the Tekes Hasmacha, the ceremony of rabbinical and cantorial ordination. May you be blessed with these words from our high holiday liturgy, a prayer said by members of the congregation on behalf of their leaders. Be'or panecha yahalechun, berech lecha yichreun, Amcha befihem yivarchun, umivirkot picha kulam yitbarechun. May they walk in the light of your spirit, and may their blessings, and by their blessings, may we all be blessed. Mazal tov. At this time, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to you, Cantor Frieder, who will soon be concluding his service this year as interim director of the H.L. Miller Cantorial School and College of Sacred Music. Cantor Frieder's wealth of experience and his dedication, enthusiasm, and expertise brought steady leadership to the school, and he fostered a warm, supportive environment. The H.L. Miller Cantorial School is an integral component of the Division of Religious Leadership, and we are so glad it has thrived under your direction. Prior to serving as interim director, Cantor Frieder was a longtime and beloved presence as part of the Cantorial School faculty, and we are very pleased that he will be continuing in that role. Rafi, thank you for your important contributions to JTS.
Chancellor Schwartz, this year's rabbinical school graduates will be ordained as rabbis at a ceremony taking place later today. Several of those students were awarded a Master of Arts degree earlier in these commencement exercises from the Gershon Kex Graduate School or earned one previously. I now have the privilege to present to you a student among those being ordained later today who has successfully completed the requirements for the degree of Master of Sacred Music in the Rabbinical School. I invite Jonathan Gordon Adler to rise and come forward to the platform.
Thank you, Rabbi Cohen. Jonathan Gordon Adler, you have completed the prescribed course of instruction and have fulfilled the research and other requirements of the Rabbinical School. In recognition of these accomplishments and acting upon the recommendation of the faculty and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Sacred Music, which you have earned in course. We congratulate you on this well-earned achievement.
Chancellor Schwartz, at this afternoon's Tekes Hasmacha, ceremony of rabbinic and cantorial ordination, 10 new rabbis will be ordained as preachers and teachers in Israel. I now invite those of you who are present today to rise and remain standing at your seats as I call their names. Jonathan Gordon Adler, Joshua Aaron Bender, Caleb Millian Shehan Brahmer, Talia Leah Kaplan, Gisela Andrea Romain Baylor, Ilana Mardell Sandberg, Liliana Elizabeth Schwartzman, Samuel Joseph Vingren, Amalia Miriam Volz.
May you be blessed with a Talmudic blessing conferred by Rabbi Ami on his students when they departed from the academy. Siftotecha yabiu dat v'chilyotecha ta'alozna meisharim ufa'amecha yarutzu lishmoa divrei atik yomin. May your lips communicate knowledge. May your kidneys rejoice in the honorable. May you rejoice in the right with all your heart. And may you always run to hear the words of God. Mazal tov.
I now call upon Grace Hack, who received a Master's of Arts degree from the William Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education earlier in this ceremony, to speak on behalf of the graduates of JTS's professional and graduate schools.
Should I make this taller? It's okay. Hello, my name is Grace, and I am, as of this moment, a proud graduate of the Davidson School of Jewish Education. I want to thank Chancellor Schwartz and the JTS leadership who champion this institution, my fellow classmates, our families and friends who support us and celebrate us, and the faculty who have changed us. As advanced students of Jewish studies, we know how central storytelling is to our tradition. I imagine we are each motivated as educators, as leaders, as Jews, to explore the depths of our stories and share their wisdom. As I look back on my degree at JTS, I am amazed by how much I have learned and how well I've been prepared to do this kind of work. A few weeks ago, I wrote a play about Miriam's role in the Passover story, which my 4th grade Hebrew school students performed. Yeah, it's okay. So much of my JTS education flows through this play and the lesson I crafted around it. It all began with a biblical studies course I took here, where I wrote a research paper about Miriam. I studied every line of Torah in which she appears, which it turns out is not that many. This only galvanized me to read the abundant midrash about her, Baruch Hashem. Thanks to my graduate studies in midrash, I was prepared to weave into my play stories of young Miriam saving Hebrew babies, deflecting the wrath of Pharaoh, prophesying unborn Moses as the Jewish savior, and advocating that her own mother stay on as Moses' nurse after he's adopted by Pharaoh's daughter. If you're thinking, wow, I didn't know Miriam did all that, well, you're not alone. I didn't either, and that's why I felt so determined to share this story with my students. I now had the play, but thanks to my Davidson courses, I knew I had to ask myself, why is this story, this particular story, of value to my students? What is the enduring understanding I hope to impart? Well, I thought, as a young girl, Miriam shapes the future of her community by speaking her truth. Perhaps, through studying Miriam, my young students might appreciate the power of their own words and voices. To shape the lesson around this learning, I split them into groups, giving each a different act of the play to learn, to own, and to perform for their classmates. Everybody got to be a character, everybody got to speak, everybody got to pick a fun hat from the costume box, me included. And in the script, at the recommendation of my dear supervisor, I had given Miriam brief monologues in the script where she challenges her fears and encourages herself to do the brave, right thing, like speaking up to Pharaoh or her parents. After the play, one student shared, I learned that some of the most powerful words are the ones we say to ourselves. Other 4th grade students nodded emphatically in agreement. Brilliant, I thought. This is exactly why I do this. I hadn't even considered that before. My fellow graduates, we are all teachers and storytellers. We are leaving this place with a great gift and the responsibility to share it. There is a teaching from Pesichta de Rav Kahana that when you study words of Torah, they are not to seem antiquated to you, but as fresh as though the Torah were given on this day. That is the eternal challenge our tradition poses to us, and through our learning, we keep it fresh and alive for ourselves. Through our work and through connecting in community, we bring it to life for others, so that we may all know our shared story a little better and be strengthened by it. I want to congratulate all of us for reaching this milestone. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Your students are lucky to have benefited from your creativity and wisdom, and I know that will always be true. Mazel tov to all of you, the graduating class of 2024. This moment is always a joyous one, but this year it feels all the more important to mark it with exuberance. We rejoice with you, our graduates, for the milestones you have achieved, the opportunities you've taken, the communities you've strengthened, and the hopes you offer for a better future. We applaud your efforts. I'm still here. We applaud your efforts precisely for being hard-won after the many challenges you have faced during your student years. Especially since October 7th, we as a community have been carrying around so much pain, praying for the hostages' return and for Israel's safety, security, and well-being. weeping for the loss of innocent life in both Israel and Gaza, and praying for peace. Though our perspectives are not monolithic, we have held our community together, even as we have also experienced a rising tide of anti-Semitism in this country that has shaken us to the core. When we are in pain, whether emotional or physical, whether chronic or short-lived, it can overwhelm us. Figuring out how to persevere, how to look to the future, put one foot in front of the other despite our pain, is one of the challenges of being human. And we have struggled to find ways to do that in the aftermath of the horrors of October 7th. We each process pain differently, and yet Judaism provides a template that initially creates a supportive haven, but then pushes us toward re-engagement. For example, during the 7 days of intense mourning after a loved one's death, we grieve at home while friends, family, and community members come to us to offer comfort. But after that week, our tradition impels us, gently but firmly, to leave our comfort zone. Ready or not, the mourner must venture outside and walk around the block, symbolically reconnecting with the wider world. Without diminishing the mourner's pain, our tradition wants us, after just 1 week, to notice our surroundings, to recognize that our pain exists alongside both the world's beauty and the sorrows and struggles of others. I remember getting up from Shiva myself and going that very week to comfort another mourner, despite the rawness of my own grief. This is the balance we have always striven for at JTS. Studying our tradition, living as Jews, committed to the flourishing of Judaism and of the Jewish people at large, while being fully engaged with the wider world around us, both communally and intellectually. JTS deliberately made its home in Morningside Heights over 100 years ago, just as this neighborhood was becoming an intellectual hub. We always wanted our Jewish identity to define us, not confine us. We've always recognized that Jewish learning is enriched by the intellectual perspectives and tools of the academy, and we've always been committed not only to advancing a thriving Jewish community, but to engaging with the world in which we live and striving to improve it. Sadly, certain communal ties with friends, colleagues, and classmates at other institutions have been harder to maintain these past months. Many of you experienced hostility, erasure, even harassment as you strove to learn and socialize with others. Seemingly overnight, your sense of belonging to the wider world evaporated. The loss felt deep, agonizing, and ominous, for Jewish engagement with society at large has come to define our way of living Jewishly. And yet it is important to remember that Jewish integration into Western society, with all the blessings that it has offered, was never a given. Rather, it resulted from hard-won efforts over the past 2 centuries. It was the noted 18th century philosopher Moses Mendelssohn who championed this struggle. A traditional German Jew who acquired a secular education, a merchant, and a theologian, Mendelssohn hoped to integrate into Western society as a way of both enriching Judaism and expanding opportunities for the Jewish people. Though he felt short of achieving his goals, he inspired a Jewish enlightenment that has accelerated this process of integration. The intellectual tradition that Mendelssohn pioneered is one we embrace and advance in ways he could only dream of. He would have loved our dual degree programs for the opportunity they provide to gain an integrated education that includes first-rate secular and Jewish studies. He would have been in awe of our graduate programs for their integrated approach to Jewish learning and engaging with the world around us, one that includes immersive study of traditional Jewish texts, the insights of modern scholarship, and the study of the history and culture of the Jewish people over time and space. Mendelssohn, who made it possible for modern Jews to imagine a way to live as proud, knowledgeable, engaged Jews and members of society at large, reminds us of the importance of striving for that goal of integration, even when it can feel disheartening and at times quite painful to do so. This approach requires constant attention, lest we retreat to parochialism at the expense of concern for the welfare of the world, or weaken our Jewish anchor in pursuit of universalistic goals. Thus, despite the challenges of these past months, we at JTS invited caring, thoughtful Christian and Muslim faith leaders, academics, institutional leaders, and artists, as well as our own faculty and students, for a convening on anti-Semitism and allyship. Together, we learned about the history of both anti-Semitism and allyship. We highlighted common ground and considered how best to address contemporary anti-Semitism. We practiced what we preach, for as my cherished colleague, Professor Mary Boyes, emphasizes, dialogue is not a mere method, it is a way of life. Dialogue requires attentiveness to the emotions, virtues, and skills that nurture relationships, strengthen alliances, and attune us to the hearts and minds of others. Since October, as you know, I've ended countless communications with the line, "May we know more hopeful times soon." Where have I found a measure of hope day after day? I found it in you, our dear graduates. You, graduates of the William Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education, the Kex Graduate School, Liss College, the Rabbinical School, and the H.L. Miller Cantorial School, you fill me with hope. Despite challenges and disruptions that punctuated your student years, you persevered. You studied the Jewish experience with head, hand, and heart, with an eye toward adding meaning, beauty, and purpose to your lives. You cultivated many forms of understanding and honed skills to develop compelling visions for a kinder, more just future. And you already put your learning to test this past year as you braved challenging situations with courage and resoluteness of spirit. As you venture out into the world, whether to academic positions, congregations, the business world, education, or any other one of many paths, this learning will be your anchor, your nourishing force. JTS will continue to fortify you throughout your lives, your mind, your character, your way of being. We look forward to seeing how you, as JTS alumni, will harness your knowledge and experiences for good, build alliances with others, and share your gifts with the world. We wish you much success as you do so in your own unique ways. Mazel tov to you and to all of us for reaching this day.
At this time, I would like to thank and congratulate our Chancellor, Dr. Shirley Rubin Schwartz, for her important remarks and for her leadership of this institution during this past year. And I also want to extend my personal thanks and gratitude to Mr. Blitzer for being here and for sharing this so very important advice and remarks for all of us, not just our graduates. I also want to extend my thanks to our provost, Dr. Jeffrey Kress, for his leadership. And in particular this year, to Tom Cagadan, our Director of Public Events and Commencement Director, for all of his hard work in producing today's beautiful ceremony and each of the prior year's ceremonies. At this time, I want to offer my personal congratulations to all of the graduates. Now for the recessional. The chorus of the H.L. Miller School, Cantorial School, will sing the Adon Olam, which is printed in the back of the commencement program. And I want to offer my sincere thanks to the chorus and to its talented director, Chazan Natasha Hirschhorn, in advance. One of my favorite parts of this entire ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in your seats until the entire recessional has been completed. And now, on behalf of the faculty and the administration and the Board of Trustees, I want to thank you once again for joining us and sharing this very exciting and meaningful day. And a final word to all of you graduates, a personal word. Look at JTS as your home. The doors here are always open to each and every one of you. Come, learn, reconnect, recharge in your work, whatever it may be. We need you to identify excellent students and potential leaders of the Jewish world like yourselves and guide them here to JTS so that our collective future can be stronger. And in that way, we will all go from strength to strength. I now declare these 130th commencement exercises of the Jewish Theological Seminary to be concluded. Mazel tov.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Koyetzir Nivra, Lenasa, B'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Koyetzir Nivra, Lenasa, B'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra.
ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו נורא והוא היה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נקרא ונשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא
והוא אחד ואין שני לעם שלו בירה
Umanos li Menat kosi beyom ekro Adon olam asher malach B'terem kol yetzir nivra V'nasa v'cherzo kol Azay melech shemo nikra B'yahado Avkid ruchi B'et ishan B'ayira B'im ruchi Yeviati Adonai livelo ira Adon olam asher malach B'terem kol yetzir nivra Nasa v'chefzo kol Azay melech shemo nikra Adon olam asher malach B'terem kol yetzir nivra Nasa v'chefzo kol Azay melech Azay melech Azay melech Azay melech shemo nikra